Been cool to kind of see her come up so quickly. I remember when I first started with my coach Mark, Eala is the match that I was looking at, and there was people like wrapped around the stadium just
Less than 48 hours ago, Jessica Pegula lifted the Dubai title 6-2, 6-4 over Svitolina, her first WTA 1000 title since the 2024 Canadian Open, her fourth WTA 1000 crown overall, and the first American woman to win Dubai since Venus Williams in 2014. And the biggest trending tennis story right now? The $200 million sponsor deal reportedly circling Alex Eala's name, a contract Vera Files buried 2 weeks ago. One Eala never mentioned and no brand ever confirmed, but it still pulled 100,000 likes before the fact check even landed. That's the world we're in. And here's what should genuinely bother every tennis fan in this room. Pegula's real portfolio, Adidas, KPMG, Blue Air, Dyson, Gorjana, is stacked and almost completely invisible to this conversation. And if you think Pegula doesn't notice that, you haven't been paying attention. Because that's exactly the kind of thing that makes a champion break down. Meanwhile, Ayala's actual rise, ranked 140 to a career high of 40 in 12 months, first Filipino ever in a WTA 1000 semifinal, is already one of the sport's great stories, and it keeps getting buried under fiction. Imagine winning a WTA 1000 and watching the headlines ignore you for a rumor. And honestly, that's not fair to her either. But that's exactly what happened this week. So let's talk about who's actually winning this sponsor war, and why the answer is nothing like what you've been told. Now let's actually break this down, because the sponsor conversation around these two players isn't just lopsided, it's operating in two completely different universes. Start with Pegula. And no, not her family's billions. That's the lazy take, and you already know better than that. We're talking about what she has built, on her own name, through her own results. KPMG came in January 2025, a major US audit and advisory firm putting their logo on her racket bag, their first ever move into women's tennis. Think about what that means. A firm that size doesn't sign athletes for fun, they sign credibility. Then January 2026, Blue Air announced her as their global air wellness ambassador. And before anyone jokes about air purifiers, Pegula herself said it best. You can't control the conditions of a match, but you can control how you rest and recover. That's not a random quote. That's a woman who travels 11 months a year, carries a purifier to every hotel room, and turned her recovery routine into a verified brand deal. Add Adidas, Yonex, Dyson, Gorjana, Stella Artois, World of Hyatt, and you have a portfolio that most top 10 players would genuinely envy. Quietly stacked, barely discussed. Now flip it. The internet doesn't want quiet. The internet wants $200 million. It wants Sheikh Mansour. It wants Roger Federer somehow involved. And every single week, a new fake deal lands in Eala's name, racks up 100,000 reactions, and disappears after Vera Files or Rappler buries it. The Wilson deal, fake. The Emirates Airlines package, fake. The billion-dollar UAE contract, fake. And yet, here's the part nobody wants to say out loud, every single one of those fabricated headlines is doing something real. It's building a mythology around a 20-year-old that actual brands are now being forced to pay attention to, which raises the question nobody has answered yet. Here's what investigators at Rappler and The Nerve uncovered in late 2025. At least 5 dedicated tennis Facebook pages, Tennis Together, Topspin Central, Tennis Triumph, Tennis Today, the whole squad, were systematically manufacturing fake Eala content. Not out of love for the sport, not even out of love for Eala, for ad revenue. These pages would post an AI-generated image of Eala supposedly signing a billion-dollar check, distorted fingers, misspelled brand names and all, because AI still can't count to 5. Funnel the outrage traffic to an external website loaded with 20+ ads per page, and pocket anywhere from a few thousand to over 2 million pesos a month, depending on how viral the post went. The $200 million story, the Wilson deal, the Sheikh Mansour contract, the Federer ecosystem, none of it was fan fiction dreamed up by passionate supporters. It was an ad operation, a content factory, and Eala herself was the unwilling product. She even said it out loud in January 2026, after her Philippine Women's Open quarterfinal exit. It is concerning because I see sometimes they get a lot of likes, and it's difficult, I understand, to tell the difference when you see it online. That's a 20-year-old athlete, ranked number 47 in the world, and climbing, having to publicly manage a disinformation machine she never asked for and has zero control over. Her father, Eala, put it plainly: "We choose to focus our energy on things that are positive and can help her get to her goals." Which is honestly the most composed response possible when strangers on the internet are inventing billion-dollar contracts on your daughter's behalf using AI-generated bank checks. And yet, and this is the part that keeps this conversation interesting, the machine is accidentally telling a truth that the real numbers already confirm. Because Eala's genuine story is exactly the kind of story that should be attracting massive sponsor attention. She started 2026 ranked number 50. By February 2nd, she hit number 45, a new career high. By February 9th, number 40, highest ranked Filipino in WTA history. And after her Dubai quarterfinal run this week, beating world number 8 Jasmine Paolini and number 32 Sorana Cirstea before losing to Goff, she's now projected to land at approximately number 32 when the updated rankings drop. All of that in under 8 weeks. That's not a rising star, that's a rocket. And real brands, unlike fake Facebook pages, are watching. They just haven't announced anything yet. Which is exactly how legitimate deals actually work. Quietly, legally, with contracts and lawyers, not AI-generated press releases on Tennis Plus. So let's bring it back to Pegula, because this is where the title earns its weight. Pegula turns 32 this week, right after winning Dubai. She's 13 wins and 2 losses in 2026. She chairs the WTA Tour Architecture Council, the body currently redesigning the entire women's tennis calendar. She won her first WTA 1000 title since the 2024 Canadian Open, and she carried a Blue Air purifier to every hotel room along the way. She has a skincare line. She has Gorjana jewelry she co-designed in 2 collections, one of which donates proceeds to rescue dogs. She has KPMG, a firm that doesn't put their logo on a racket bag unless the due diligence is airtight. She has Dyson, she has World of Hyatt. She is, by every measurable standard, one of the most commercially stable and intellectually credible athletes in women's tennis right now. And the algorithm treats her like a supporting character in someone else's story. Now, is that fair? No. And we said that already. But here's the uncomfortable truth that both fan bases need to sit with. The reason Pegula doesn't break the internet is the same reason her portfolio is rock solid. She's not a rumor. She's not a projection. She's not potential wrapped in a fake bank check. She is a verified, documented, press-released, fact-checked reality. And in 2026 on social media, reality doesn't always win the algorithm. Drama does, fiction does. A $1.6 billion UAE contract from a sheikh who is nowhere near a tennis court does. That's the gap, not talent, not marketability, not even ranking. The gap between Pegula's coverage and Eala's viral noise is purely a gap between what is real and what is clickable. And unfortunately for Pegula, real doesn't always trend. But here's the twist ending nobody sees coming. Indian Wells starts March 4th. Both players are in the draw. Pegula, red hot with Dubai title momentum and a 13-2 record. Eala, projected to be somewhere around number 32, fresh, off back-to-back WTA 1000 quarterfinals in Abu Dhabi and Dubai, with a fan base that travels internationally just to fill center court and chant her name so loud that Coco Gauff joked she started pretending it was her own name to stay focused. These two could meet again, and if they do, if Pegula and Eala are on the same side of the draw at Indian Wells, the sponsorship war that the internet invented with fake numbers might finally produce a real moment that neither side will be able to look away from. One player with a verified portfolio that nobody talks about. One player with a viral mythology that nobody can fact-check fast enough. Same tournament, same hard court, and this time, no wild cards. Eala earns her place in the draw on pure ranking. Whatever happens at Indian Wells, one thing is already settled. The $200 million deal is fiction. The fake sheikh contract is fiction. The Wilson millions are fiction. But the rivalry, the tension between who gets the credit and who wins, the trophies between who trends and who triumphs, that part is 100% real. And it's only getting started. So drop it in the comments. If Pegula and Eala meet at Indian Wells and Pegula wins again, does the internet finally give her the flowers she deserves, or does another fake deal trend by Monday morning? You already know the answer, and if this video gave you facts over fiction for once, hit like, subscribe, and we'll see you at Indian Wells.